Welcome back to Justice. We've been watching a beautiful concert from College Station, Texas, and we'll hear from President Trump in a few moments. But first, we're going to go back to Kellyanne Conway, counselor to the president. Thanks for staying with us, Kellyanne. All right,
Absolutely.
Now let's get to some of the serious stuff. We were talking about Uranium One, and we know that the Clintons benefited financially through the foundation. But what we didn't know until this week was that there was an ongoing federal active criminal investigation where an American businessman was wired up. Eric Holder, the Department of Justice, Bob Mueller, the head of the FBI, Andrew McCabe in the FBI, handling the Clinton email case, also aware of this, and Rod Rosenstein, the same guy who made Jeff Sessions get out of the way and who appointed his friend Mueller on the case as well. Now, all these guys aware of this corruption and scandal by Russia say nothing, and we sell our uranium to Russia. The main witness now on lockdown, should Jeff Sessions unleash this main witness from the non-disclosure agreement?
Well, Janine, you know I can't answer that question for you as counselor to the president, but I will tell you, practically speaking, this one is very easy for America to understand. Just close your eyes and imagine that every time Clinton or Obama's names are in this equation, you had the word Trump. Imagine what an uproar it would be from a media who's largely ignoring the story and largely ignored it and criticized those of us talking about it a year ago during the campaign. This is easy. You can connect a straight line. Bill Clinton's getting $500,000, a cool $500,000 check to give a speech over in Russia. The Hill reported this week that former President Bill Clinton, requested from State Department, really checked in with him and asked if it was okay. He tried to get clearance to meet with some officials over there. And then he doesn't get an answer for a couple weeks, but voila, 20% of U.S. uranium rights go to a Russian company, a Russian interest. This is the kind of thing that bothers people about the swamp and about politicians and people who leave the swamp. And I think it frankly answers the question why people found Hillary Clinton to be not honest and not trustworthy. The number one question I got about this time in the campaign last year was, will Donald Trump, when will he accept the election results? He did accept the election results. And then after he won, I got the question 6 ways to Sunday every day. Will he prosecute Hillary Clinton over these emails? But it turns out that since then we've had this huge Russia investigation, basically has consumed taxpayer dollars in the entire 2017 year. And it's been about the wrong presidential candidate. It's been about the wrong players. People want to find a Russian investigation.
Well, but not only that, the thing that the irony here is that the very people who hid from the American public the corruption that was going on and the money laundering that was going on by Russia to access our uranium are the people who are now investigating Donald Trump to try to make a connection between him and Russia. It is backwards. And you know what? The Republicans in Congress who are being made a fool of by being part of these congressional committees where after 1 year there's not one iota of evidence, and they sit there and they're being played by the Democrats because they continue to be part of these ridiculous congressional hearings where after a year there is no evidence, nothing. And they hear about this. Go ahead.
And the president has weighed in on that many times. He has said it's a hoax. There's nothing there. I've called it the collusion delusion. And frankly, you don't need to look about collusion or whether the election was stolen when you know that uranium rights were transferred after money was exchanged. And look, I can't comment on certain things and I won't. But the fact is that on this one, the president, it turns out he's right yet again. He's way ahead of everyone on practically every issue out there, way out in front. He's been warning everybody for a year. And I just want to tell all those people on the networks and the cable stations who have all these fancy graphics that say Russia, 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 you can dust them off again because I've noticed, curiously, been awfully quiet about it lately. But you can dust off Russia, Russia, Russia and apply it to this because people have a right to know what really happened and why. The Americans, this is exactly what they hate about people in power, and really them not being able to peek around the corner and get some kind of transparency and clarity about what goes on.
But, you know, as much as Americans are disgusted by pay to play and people going into Congress, you know, of mediocre means and coming out multimillionaires, when our national security is at stake, when congressmen and women are concerned about our national security and don't even know the backdrop, the context, the framework within which this deal is being made, people are should be in an uproar. And Jeff Sessions has an obligation to undo this non-disclosure agreement, which is absurd. I've never heard of it. And it goes to the consciousness of guilt of Eric Holder and Rod Rosenstein and the whole lot of them to prevent this American businessman from talking.
Jeannie, I can't let that go, only because I have to say that it is not for me to say what the Attorney General should or should not do on any matter. But I will tell you, working with the Department of Justice you're not saying it for me, you're saying it for you, but the Department of Justice is doing many different things right now that I think should capture America's attention, that don't get the coverage they deserve. I mean, the border crossings are way down. Just this week, the Deputy Attorney General held a press conference with the acting DEA
That's their job,
director.
Kellyanne.
Well,
we
but hold on. Hold on. Largest fentanyl crackdown in this country. Got to get the drugs. Got to get the drugs out of our communities.
From them. Got to go, Kellyanne.
Thanks.
All right.